Hey, good people, how you doing? David Taub here, co-creator of NextLevelGuitar.com. Hope all is well, and I hope your guitar journeys are going famously. And today I got something for the lead guitar players out there, where we're going to learn some pretty cool devices and techniques, maybe some arpeggios, some lick techniques, and some different ways of soloing over an easy 2-chord progression. And we're going to go over, what to use over what chords and what might sound good if you're trying to map out a solo. So you want to use this lesson as a template. This just isn't for these particular chord changes. What you want to do is try and, use some of these techniques and devices and put your own spin on them, make them your own, assimilate them into your playing, and then try them over some tracks that you're working on, or over some of your progressions, or in some other songs, or in some other keys, right? That's kind of the trick, right? To add these different techniques and devices to your arsenal of destruction, right? And then you can blast it over all your playing. Okay, so what we have today is a little progression I'm playing over, and all the chords is a D sus2 to a D sus2 over B flat. Right, so just like only one note changes from that D sus2, just changing the bass note. And I wanted to keep the chord changes really simple so you can concentrate on the progression. And it's a real fun progression to practice your techniques over. Hey, and if you want a free video lesson that's not here on YouTube, and a free ebook that coincides, I'll send it to you for free. All you have to do is in the description box, in the YouTube description box, click on the link in that box, and then follow the screens, and I will send you a free video lesson that's not on YouTube, and a coinciding ebook. Has tons of scales diagrammed out, tons of lessons. It's very cool. You'll enjoy it. Just click on that link. We'll send it to you for free from Next Level Guitar. And the first thing I usually think about when I'm soloing is, is about the sounds. Like, what kind of mood do I want to create? What kind of textures do I want? What overall feel am I going after, right? And in this particular instance, we're in the key of D, and I want to make it a little bit more darker, more minor, and more progressive sounding, more modern sounding. So I'm going to choose a minor mode that's going to work over those changes, and I'm specifically not going to play in D minor, pentatonic, and blues. Can you play in D minor, pentatonic, and blues? You're probably asking yourself. You're saying, self, can I do that? The answer is, in 3, yes, of course you can. You could play D minor, pentatonic, and blues all day long over this, and it'll sound fine. But I want to try something a little different. Instead of kind of that bluesy rock sound, I want to go for the little bit more progressive kind of modern sound. So for this example, I'm specifically going to stay away from pentatonic scales and stick more to diatonic scales. And in this instance, we're going to use the natural minor scale, or Aeolian mode, or pure minor, all the same thing. And we're going to try that in a few different places on the neck. I'm going to show you how to start looking at the neck in a little bit more total instead of in just one position. And we're going to try some different things over it, like I did in the intro, and see how it sounds, right? So this lesson will probably have a couple parts to it. I'll do a few techniques and devices here in this one, and then the next one we'll do some more stuff so you could build on what you're learning. So be sure to tune into all the lessons in this series and, really work them up over jam tracks. So important. And if you want the track that I'm playing over here, I have it on our website, nextlevelguitar.com. There's a free day, I'm sorry, there's a free 3-day all-access site pass right on the homepage. So just under the video on the homepage, click Start Your Trial Now, then go into the Jam Tracks section and download it's titled D sus2 to B flat progressive jam. Download that track, and then you could use that as well as give the site a good test drive for 3 days and enjoy it. See how you like it. We have over 1,500 video lessons, all levels, beginner, intermediate, advanced, all genres of music. So check it out, but go there for this track because it's a lot of fun to play over, right? The first thing is, what scale shapes do we want to use? And if you don't know any Aeolian mode shapes, that's okay. Or if you're not understanding what that is, don't worry about it. Just think of this as just a variation of the major scale. That's all the modes are, just variations of major scales. And for every minor scale, there's a major scale with exactly the same notes in it. And eventually you want to memorize those, right? C major, same notes as in A minor, right? A G major, same notes as in E minor. In this instance, we're in D minor, or D minor, and that's the same as F major. So basically just take all your F major scales and start them and emphasize the D notes, and that will make them sound minor, right? Because we're going after the sound. Remember, it's all about the sounds. So I'll show you a couple shapes and I'll show you a couple ways that you could start connecting them. And that's so key, you know, to try to look at the neck as one big opportunity, one long elongated shape, and not in these little boxes or positions. It will really open up your playing. And that was such a big thing. I remember when I was developing my style, when I started to see the totality of the neck more and start playing across as opposed to up and down, that really just opened up a world of opportunities, you know? And I strongly suggest you consider that if you're just staying in one position all the time. And I'll show you how you could start very easily by let's just take two shapes and connect them, okay? So D minor or F major, you probably know this shape for a major scale using 3 notes per string. And you take it off the first fret, which is F, it'll look like this. Right? But what you want to do is start that on the D note, which is at the 5th fret of the A string. You want that dark minor sound. Okay, so get that shape down, and then when you do, then we're going to take this next shape, which is a very common 5th string root minor shape in the key of D. So first finger, 5th fret on the D note again. Know where your root notes are. So important. Love that shape, right? Okay, so let's start connecting them, and there's a world of licks that you could play just from connecting and sliding around, and I was doing a little of that in the intro, right? But we're going to start on that D note. So let's start with that scale. And then when you get to that 6th fret with your pinky, slide up a whole step, and now we're in this next position. So just go down that scale and see if you can get that fluid connection. And on those D notes, right? So now we're playing over this much of the neck, right? As we're connecting these two shapes. So then what you want to do, once you got that connection down, is try to slide from each string. So for instance, on the B string, 3rd, 5th, 6th, 8th. And the high E is the same thing. See how you're starting to connect these? And then you could start to do like a hammer and pull to connect the two shapes. Pick, hammer, pull, slide, hammer, pull, slide. Another D note. Know where those D notes are, right? So important. So now what you could do you just slide around between those two positions. And all these licks will start opening up to you, right? And you're connecting your shapes and you're playing fluidly across the neck. And try to end to resolve on the D notes. Okay. So mess with that, and then you got two shapes down, and you could continue up the neck with that, right? A lick technique that I really like to use, and I was playing an example too, when I was getting some different sounds between an E and an F note. And I like that because in the key of D minor, your E is your third, is your second, and the F is the flat third, and I like the way those two notes sound together. So what I do is anytime I have a half step between notes, I'll play with that. I'll bend to the note, and then I'll slide to the note, and you get different sounds. And this was the lick I was playing. Right? And it looks kind of cool too. But all it is, it's very simple. All I'm doing is, remember, here I am on this B string on the 5th and 6th frets. And then all I'm going to do is I'm going to bend from the 5th to the 6th. And then let it down. And then pull off to the 3rd. So I'm bending from that, basically I'm bending from the E to the F. But the little different texture, right? So after you bend, release, pull off, hammer, and then slide to the F. So I'm bending to the F and then sliding to the F. And then slide to the F, slide back, 5th fret, and then pull off. And then start it all over again. So real slow, you get this. Pretty cool, right? And the great thing about that technique is anywhere you have a half step, you could do that. So cool, right? So for instance, we have that same kind of architecture on the high E string. So there I connected them, but on the high E string, it's between the A and the B flat note, which is nice because you have that B flat when it goes to the B flat over D sus2. So try that. That's a really cool little technique that you could do between any half steps, and especially when you have a whole step behind it on a 3 notes per string, it makes for an easy hammer and pull. And you could do that all over the neck. Super cool. So give those little techniques a try and try them over the track. Try connecting the scale. If you don't have that track, remember, go to the website in the jam track section, and it's under the D sus2 to D sus2 / B flat chord, and you could download it and try it. There's a 3-day free pass on the home page, so you can use that track and also check out some of the other lessons on there for free. Give the site a good test drive. And see how you like it. And remember, use these techniques in your other jams. When you're kind of pulling apart these progressions in your jams, it's always the chords that give you the roadmap to what you can use solo and improvisation wise. You know, the key is only part of it. You really have to examine the chords. In this instance, the chord, it's very simple, just a 2-chord kind of change, but always give the chords a good look and study the relationship between chords and scales and what scales sound good over what chords and play with that, you know, loop a chord and just play and see what you like when you're developing your own style. It's so important. What sounds good to your ears? I get a lot of questions on gear. I tend to keep it pretty simple. All I did in the intro, my tone in the intro for this lesson, all it is I'm playing a Paul Reed Smith USA made 513 guitar. And I switched between playing one of the, it's all single coils, but some of them are wired together, but I played between the back 2 and then all the way up on the neck pickup. And then I just run straight into a Diesel VH4S head and cabinet, and I'm just using the amp distortion. The only effect I have on is a little delay. I have an analog MXR carbon copy delay, so I'm running from the guitar and right into the front of the amp. I have the delay and the effects loop, so it's out of the chain when it's out. So that's all that tone is. Very simple, just using amp distortion, that's it. And then when I'm teaching this, obviously just for instructional purpose, I take the delay off and I turn the gain down. That's basically it. I tend to keep it simple on gear, but you do what sounds best to your ears, and certainly experiment and be creative and have fun with it. Check out the website, have fun with it, subscribe to our YouTube videos, click on that subscribe button, right? I'm David Taub, co-creator of nextlevelguitar.com. Be sure to check out the next part of this lesson. We'll talk about some more techniques, and I'll see you then. Take care and rock on.